a Toastmasters meeting without a word of the day. Hang on to this thought, I will come to it after I finish my speech. So this is going to be another immigrant story, told of course with an accent. My name is Vidya Shankar. Those who know me call me Vidya, but that woman at that Starbucks on Eglinton and Dixie calls me Video. And immigration officers have even called me Visa. Anyways, I'm here to tell you how I ended up in Canada, not because I want to, but because I have to in order to get through the 5-minute speech. So how did I end up in one of the coldest countries, Canada, all the way from one of the hottest countries, India? You guys might be thinking that I want to get out of my comfort zone. Are you kidding me? Am I insane to do something like that? No, totally not. Going back to 2008, a little flashback, here's what happened. A minute a guy has a job back home in India, he is considered well settled in society's books. The next pressure was to get married, which is to go through an arranged marriage. So I was going through that exact same pressure. And I remember having this conversation with my grandmother. She calls me one evening and says, Vidya, I'd love for you to get married. So I ask her, why, Granny? She says, I'm getting old. Before I die, I want to see your marriage. Is that a right thing? Do you want me to get married for my grandmother's sake? So I told her, Granny, all right, I will get married right now for your sake. But remember, she didn't know that I can divorce and remarry later again to a girl of my choice. So I told her that, but that was the last time we ever had this conversation. So basically, I was planning an escape route to get out of the country to escape marriage. So I ended up at the University of New Brunswick in St. John. Anybody here from St. John? No one. Great. Here's an interesting fact about St. John. All North American cities have a downtown, which is basically down south. St. John also has a downtown, but for some reason they call it the Uptown St. John. Till date, I have no idea as to why they would call it the Uptown St. John, despite their downtown is also down south. Anyways, moving to St. John gave me one of the worst culture shocks ever. Why? Because their Uptown St. John is the size of our Eden Center, for God's sake. Anyways, I don't want to bash that city anymore, but moving to St. John actually taught me that people in this world eat to live. Why? Because there are no fancy restaurants out there. So I decided to take a look at some of the options that that city had. So I just stepped outside my house and I saw a Wendy's. So that was my first time going to a Wendy's, so I look at their menu card and I see cheeseburger. Okay, coming from India, I can try that cheeseburger. Cheese and bun, I can't go wrong with that. Wait a minute, I saw a patty in between. What the hell is that? That is the hamburger. Oh my God, that was the first time I had it. It was tasty, juicy, delicious. No wonder people call it the holy cow. So anyways, I was tired of the city. So I wanted to move to a big city and experience life in Toronto. So the minute I moved to Toronto, I actually got a job and I had the bucks, so I wanted to get into the world of dating, right? So I meet this beautiful woman in my very first date, again, dating here. Beautiful woman, very first date, I'm having a conversation for 2 hours. Oh my God, I was thinking, why didn't I move to this city earlier? Right? But again, 2 hours conversation for a first date is great in my standards, but again, this woman talked for 1 hour 55 minutes. Anyways, but she tells me that, hey Vidya, I'd love to get into a platonic relationship with you. I was like, what the hell did I hear? Relationship? In my first date? Am I too good? But again, English is not my first language, clearly. My vocabulary wasn't great either. And I wasn't part of a Toastmasters club back then where they could have introduced this in their word of the day, right? And I didn't even have a smartphone back then, so talk about things going wrong on all fronts. So I said, Alright, I'd love to get into a platonic relationship with you. I waited until the end of that day to really understand what that word meant. To those of you who do not know what that word means, it means absence of romance or sex. And I stopped dating Toronto women after that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.